Curt, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So we're going to talk about Takeoff, which is a company that I've been just fascinated about for a good duration of time. And what I think is just it's finally helping with the promise that has been out there, but I don't think consumers have really taken advantage of, and that's e-commerce for supermarkets. And you in Takeoff is ultimately helping make this a reality for grocers. So talk about Takeoff. So what is the business, and how do you guys actually make that e-commerce a reality?
Sure. So, um, I guess the place to start with e-grocery is that most people understand that the majority of grocers are still shopping on their sales floor, and if there's an average 50-item order, those grocers are taking an hour to 90 minutes to assemble that customer's order, and that often leads to a fee, or if not, the grocer's losing a lot of money. So it hasn't been a sustainable business for most grocers, but something that they're doing defensively because the customer's obviously very interested in it. What Takeoff does is we take that same 50-item order, and with automation and software, we can chop it in about 6 minutes.
Wow.
So a tenfold kind of enhancement. Um, and instead of just having 2 to 3% of the country's population using e-grocery, we can lower fees so that maybe 20% will eventually be using e-grocery as a part of their family's weekly routine. The nice thing about it, even though we're using automation, this is automation that creates jobs because we're taking a task that is traditionally done by a shopper and all of a sudden lowering fees so we get tremendous demand from the customer.
Yeah, it's a total change in a business model that, like you said, it is offered now, but it's a very different offering of what you do. And how does that actually work? Because it is complex as far as the micro fulfillment center, the software. So how does it all work?
All right, so we have 6 operational facilities in the United States and abroad right now, soon to be 26, and then about 100 on order. So the process in most of the facilities is very similar. There is an automated system, robotic system. Think of like a vending machine that goes high, 20 feet high, and has pick stations where the product is brought to a selector. And that means we can pick an average item in every 3 to 5 seconds versus a minute or two hunting for it on the sales floor. So if it's a 50-item order, you might have 40 of those items come out of the automation. And then there are items that really don't work in automation. For example, 24-pack water or really big packs of paper tiles, really bulky items. And those go in a fast pick racetrack with customized software that allows us to pick those items by weight and cube into specialized totes. And then we merge the manual process with the automated process and get the order out in specialized totes that are temperature controlled for chilled and frozen items. So we can either take it right out to the curb for a customer, or we can ship it to a sister store or a drugstore or any place that the customer wants to pick it up. We can also use those totes because we have pre-bagged the totes for an Uber driver or a DoorDash driver or a Deliv driver to pick up from any location and take it to the customer. So we do both pickup and delivery.
Wow. Okay. And like from what I understand, like the micro fulfillment centers, like they can actually be placed within a store too, or they can be placed in other locations. But it's interesting how that model is developed.
Yeah, we have most of our facilities, as you're saying, are attached to a grocery store, and because they're so small, they only take up about 10,000 square feet. The average grocery store might be 65,000 square feet in most suburban markets. So they take up 8% or less of the store floor usually. And then we also have a standalone version, which is a little larger. If the retailer doesn't have room, when they're doing a remodel, to put in a micro fulfillment center.
Got it. Now talk about the company. I mean, you need to have a great team to make all this happen. This is not a simple thing to actually accomplish. So what's the size of the team at Takeoff?
Sure. So 3 years ago, it was 4 people. we're now about 250 people. Business has been good. We have, an engineering team, obviously, and a product design team, an operations team. Uh, it's a really nice group of people. Good culture. I think we even got rated as one of the best places to work, in the Boston and Massachusetts area. And a lot of very creative people, hardworking people from a variety of different backgrounds.
And the company's headquartered in Waltham. So what, as far as hiring, like where do you expect growth within the different functional areas of the company?
We at the rate we're growing, we'll be doubling probably the size of the staff. That could happen in the next couple of years. We're hiring right now, obviously, on an ongoing basis, and depending upon the continued growth, you could easily estimate, even in a steady state, 20 or 30% increase in hires for us every year.
Got it. Now, why would now be the ideal time to join Takeoff?
Well, I think the pandemic obviously has accelerated customer behavior. For us, it's doubled volume at the facilities, and for most grocers, they're unable to meet the demand of both curbside pickup and delivery right now. So for those of us closest to the industry, it looks like the pandemic accelerated the growth of online grocery by about 5 years. And that means, more than 10% of the population right now will be using it. And that creates a lot of job opportunities, obviously, and a lot of room for growth in our company.
Yeah, and it's a very unique model. It's the micro fulfillment, it's the automation. It's not a person that's just going out and manually selecting your groceries for you. So it's a completely different way of doing things. Oh, Curt, thanks so much for taking the time to walk us through all the things that you guys are up to at Takeoff. If you are interested in exploring opportunities at the company, you can find all their job listings on VentureFizz. Go to venturefizz.com/takeoff and you'll see all their listings there.
My pleasure again. Thank you.